Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible 2025 Con exclusive Shield of Dazera. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Savage Crucible, Shield of Dazera. And then some nice artwork there in the back, at least a partial of the artwork for this whole figure. And it's very cool looking. Look at those eyes and the highlights. Very nice. And then you got the same features on here, and on this side, you know, it's blown up again. Same artwork as the front, and then again on this side. But here's the whole artwork on the front, and the same deco for the eyes and the highlights, and just super cool looking. Very, very interesting, at least to me. Savage Crucible on the bottom. Don't give it to babies. Warning, attention, advertencia. Don't stick things in any language pie hole that don't belong there. Harvinger Studios, and there's their address if you want to write them a letter or something. And then a barcode made in China. And then on this side, Shield of Dazera. And then like a wax imprint there. It's not embossed or anything, but it's there. I guess it's the symbol for this figure. I don't know. And then on this side, it just says Savage Crucible. On the back, if you want to read all this stuff, please feel free to pause it and do so. And then it says Savage Crucible and Harvinger Studios down here. But wait! There's more! It's a little piece of Velcro right here. You open it up, and here's a nice window showcasing the figure and accessories in the entirety, except for the piece that's hidden behind the map. And then here's a bio on the character. And if you want to pause it right here and read that, please feel free to do so at your leisure. And then I'm going to move it up so you can pause it right here and finish reading the bio. That, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And we have handy dandy tweezers here to help us take a look at the smaller accessories. And we'll start with this bottle of, I'm not sure what it is. Elixir of some kind, perhaps. It does seem to be molded in a translucent plastic. And then it has these gold paint apps over it, with also maybe a little bit of a wash or dry brush to it. But you can see there is some, you know, where the paint messed up there at the edges. Paint slop, that's the word I was looking for. So, but overall, very nice looking piece. Then here's a surprise piece. It was in a little black baggie, and you can see it's made of translucent plastic, and it starts light here and gets darker the closer it gets to the handguard. And then it's got some rivets in it, and this nice paint app here, and some wrap details, and a bone or tooth, maybe even a claw there, I don't know. but regardless, it looks cool as can be, at least to me. Then here's his main sword, and just tons of molded detail throughout this. I mean, look at all those scratches and nicks and stuff in the blade, well worn through battle, I'm guessing. Nice silver paint out for it as well. And then we've got this gold or bronze down here for the handle with a bit of a wash to it to give it a very worn and used look. Very cool looking. It's even got nicks and stuff in, scratches in the handle and stuff, so that's very cool. Next up, we have extra set of hands, a left one and a right one, and they're both on in and out hinges, and they're both kind of splayed finger reaching claw coming to get you hands. And just look at that iridescent finish on it. It's very, very cool. And then the patterns, just fantastic looking. And the same holds true for this one. Different patterns, same iridescence to it though. Nice molded detail. Look at all the little scales and the fingernails, claws, could be claws. So very, very cool looking. So next up we have two alternate head sculpts. And here's the first one where it's like, the way I see it, like the one that's on him now, he's got his fins all folded up. This one is like, it's partially out, he's kind of getting mad. And look at the patterns on there, and again that iridescent finish. And the eyes, look at the eyes, that deco is amazing. And then this also has a movable jaw, and it opens up like that. And look at the colors in there. You got the teeth and the tongue and the roof of the mouth and around the tongue. So very, very cool. And then here's this fin all the way out. At least I'm going to call it a fin. I don't know if that's what it's actually called. But again, just look at those patterns and that iridescent finish to it all. It's just very, very incredible. And the patterns on the back. And those, again, those eyes. Look at that. Just crazy. And again, a hinged jaw. And teeth and tongue and mouth. Again, all colored in there. So very, very cool. Very detailed oriented. Next up is the card. And on this side, it has the picture of what it is, which is the Saurian cartouche. A heraldic mark. So if you want to read about that, pause it right here and read this part. And then you can pause it right here and read this part. So very, very cool. I like that. I don't really have a use for those cards, but I think it's a neat inclusion. Now here is my first soft goods from Savage Crucible. And I have to say, at first I was like, oh no, it's not wired. I'm going to have to gig them for that. But it is. It has like a ribbon wire that thick in the front parts of it. And it's pretty poseable. I have to say, I have to hand it to them for using this ribbon wire. I think that is cool, and in some instances I think it may work better than regular wire. And of course, you know, the head, you pop the head off and put the neck through this part and he wears it, and then, you know, it's tattered at the ends and it's got holes in it, so, you know, he's been out doing stuff, I guess.
And then, ooh, it's a ghost. Ooh, those holes. So there's that. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. And I will have to say, I did have to use a lot of heat on this guy to loosen him up, and still didn't even get him all the way loosened up. So you'll just have to bear with me a little bit when we get to talking about the articulation. But as far as the paint goes, I mean, good Lord, this thing is fantastic looking. Again, with the iridescence on it and the patterns. And now I will say, like, some of the joints do break up a little bit, but then you see they worked hard to have the joints not break it up here. So, yay for the patterns. And even on this tail, it has the patterns on here. So then we take a look at his armor, and lots of nice molded detail in there. I mean, wow. And it looks like maybe a bronze color with a nice wash to it to just help accentuate all of those details in there. And very cool looking. You can see, like, these are where armor pieces will attach on, like, you know, the pieces that come across the shoulder here, and then the pieces that lay across the shoulders. So all kinds of armor bits can be added to this. You can see these chain pieces for the sheath just kind of plug in. We've got nice molded details and paint all around, like this crotch piece and then this waist belt. I mean, look at that. That is cool. And then we've got lots of nice molded detail and paint work on the scabbard or sheath, whichever you wish to call it. And it's got a little bit of a wash, and it's got some dings and stuff on it. Not from me, from the factory. It's supposed to look that way. And then right here on his belt, you can see there's a port right there, and that's where that bottle plugs into. So now let's talk about the articulation. And he looks up that high, he looks down that far, and it looks like a double dumbbell at the base of the head and the top of the neck there. So he does get a little bit of chicken neck. He's got some waggle. Oh, and I forgot to say the eyes. Whew, look at those eyes. That's fantastic. So hinge jaw opens up that far, and you can see, you know, there's paint on the inside as well as some nice molded details. So very, very cool. Let's see. At the shoulder, he does have like a butterfly hinge, but it only hinges forward. So it hinges forward that far. And you can see right there, it's got a little stop in there, but it will, if you push on it, it'll pop out. So you didn't break it, it does that. So rotates 360 degrees, and I'm telling you, man, all these joints, even though I heated them way up, they're still real tight. So he can raise his arm up that high. At the upper bicep, there is a rotation, but it's weird. It's like the elbow piece here runs through this and then pins into the shoulder piece, or the shoulder ball. But it does all rotate around 360 degrees right there. Double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you that much bend. So very cool. And it looks like this is a separate piece, and it's got a hinge in it with a pin that runs up this way and a hinge in it that runs up this arm. Even though I said pinless, it does have some kind of pin in it. So up and down hinge on this wrist, 360 degrees of rotation as well. 360 degrees rotation here, and it is on an up and down hinge as well, and those are both grip hands. Now in the torso, there's a cut where the chest and the abdomen meet, and there's also a ball joint at the waist, and there's a ball joint up here or maybe it's a dumbbell. So in conjunction, he can lean back that far and crunch forward that far. At the waist, he does not rotate 360 degrees, or if he does, it's very hard to get him to do it. I couldn't do it with the other ones either that I have. But this cut up at the top of the torso, it does rotate 360 degrees there. So there is that. No pull down hinge at the hip. You can get that much of the splits. And while we're talking about that, let's talk about the tail too. The tail is on a hinge that's pinned in, and you can lift it up that high and that low, and it's segmented, so all these pieces hinge either one way or another, and they all rotate as well. So that's cool. Now to the difficulty I was having. This piece inserts into the thigh, and on other figures it rotates, at least on Nashorn it rotates, and I think it rotated on the Royal Guard that I have too. But this one, no matter how much I heat it up, it's stuck. I mean, it is stuck. So it is supposed to rotate. It does not. But you do get a little bit of rotation from the ball joint there in the hip, so you do get a little bit of rock there. Double hinged pinless knee, and it works similarly to the elbow. And you can tell it's still tight. So you get that much bend out of it. At least I'm getting that much bend out of it. And then nothing in the lower leg till you get to the ankle, and it will spin around 360 degrees. The ankle itself tilts down that far. It tilts up that far. And forward facing pin, or at least a pin for rocker. And as you notice, they no longer have toe tilt, because I was told at the Joe Fest booth that they had an issue with those feet and the factory, where the factory was putting too much pressure on them. So that's why we got new feet, and you can order replacement feet from their website for $1 plus shipping and handling. What? Yeah, no, that's not what they told me at the booth. But so there is that. Now I'm gonna go off screen and get him all geared up, because I'm gonna have to heat him up a little bit to get his stuff on him. And here we have it, my friends, all geared up. Here we have the special sword. It's got the sword in the sheath here, and then his bottle of whatever it might be on there, and he's wearing his cloak. And I will have to say, I think this cloak would be cooler if it had a hood on it. But that's just me. Maybe next time. So there you have it, my friends. Everything stores on him except for the extra hands and heads. And there's a look at the figure accessories and accessory storage. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible 2025 Con exclusive Shield of Dazera with the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Nashorn the Disinherited, and the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Lumerian Royal Guard. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible 2025 con exclusive Shield of Dazera, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance Stan the Man Lee, from the G.I. Joe Classified series the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black Series the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Harvinger Studios Savage Crucible Shield of Dazera 2025 con exclusive, I have to say, I love the deco on this gecko, although I know it's not a gecko. I love all three of the heads that it comes with. I love this bonus weapon that he's holding up right now that it came with. And for the most part, I just like everything about this figure. Now, there were a few drawbacks. And one of the drawbacks is where the hip, the leg part of the hip goes into the thigh, the rotation is stuck there. That joint is stuck. It will not come unstuck. I've heated up, and I cannot break it loose. So there's that. I'm not super enamored with the look of this cloak. I probably won't use it. I don't know, maybe I will. I probably won't though. I do like that ribbon wire in the front edges of the cape though. I like that. I think that's neat. I haven't seen that in a line before. And so, you know, I enjoy new things, and especially if they work. Now, the posability of the cloak, you know, it doesn't have to do with the weight of the wire, and I mean the weight of the cloak and the stiffness of the wire, anything like that. It just, the way it's designed, I don't feel like it's really made for action posing. But that's just me. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And another thing about this figure, I will say, all the pretty much all of the joints were stuck, and I did have to heat them up, and all of them broke loose except for that thigh swivel. It's the only thing that I couldn't get to break loose. So I'm going to continue to work on it, and maybe, you know, I will. But, you know, I love the iridescent sheen to this figure. I love the patterns. I love the deco. It's just, it's awesome. And this line, I mean the whole line, which unfortunately I'm not able to collect the whole line, but the whole line really, really looks good. And I'm judging that mostly on pictures I've seen, along with the 3 figures that I do have for it. I do intend to get more of these figures, but I almost only got one figure when I was at Joe Fest, one Savage Crucible figure, and it was going to be Nashorn. But then I saw the colors on this guy, and I had seen him before, even though he's a con exclusive. I've seen him before on Big Bad Toy Store, and I just, the patterns and the iridescence of it just said by me, and I did it. So maybe that was silly of me, I don't know. But I really like this guy, and I bought another piece. Actually, my wife bought another piece, and I'm going to put it with this, and she got that from the Beasts of the Mesozoics, or the Creative Beast Studio table, from the Beasts of the Mesozoic line. It's a little albino Triceratops, and you know, the colors don't match exactly, but I feel like they're close enough that this guy adopts that dinosaur and, you know, he's going to raise him up to be his ride, I guess. So, but that's me. And this is probably not the head I'm going to leave on this guy. I'm probably going to do the one with the head all fanned out. That's probably the one that I'm going to use. And I really haven't decided on the cloak yet, or whether I'm going to keep it on him or not. I don't know. I'll put it on the shelf with it on there and see how it looks, and if I like it, I'll keep it, and if I don't, well, I can use it for something else, I'm sure. But again, you know, I'm sorry I keep having these. You know, I keep having, seems like I have issues with this line. With the first one, you know, it was the feet, which I can get replacement feet. They told me to contact customer service at Joe Fest, and I did, and then they told me I had to pay $1 plus shipping and handling, so I should wait till I ordered a figure. So when I order a figure from them, I will get a set of replacement feet for that guy. And they're like these feet. They don't have that toe tilt, which was a little bit of an issue from the factory apparently. And, you know, it makes them want to not stand up. They keep want to fall forward. So, but, you know, as far as this guy goes, I like it. I enjoy it. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just, you know, I'm hating on Savage. Oh, Digital Caveman, he hates Savage Crucible. I don't. I like this line, and I want to love this line, and I want to collect it right there next to Mythic Legions. Again, like Mythic Legions, I may not collect everything in Savage Crucible, but, you know, I do like to kind of mix and match those. I think those lines, the sculpt and deco of both of those lines is strong enough that you can mix and match characters, not necessarily parts. Definitely not parts. I don't think the parts will mix, but character wise, you know, deco and sculpt wise, they fit together, in my opinion. And again, your mileage may vary, but I like this line. And again, I want to love this line. And I did talk to some of the folks behind it to see if they wanted to do some collaboration or anything like that. Now, after watching this, they're like, oh, he hates our products. And they probably won't want to talk to me. But, you know, I have to report it like I see it, my friends. I'm not going to sugarcoat it if there's an issue with something. And that may, you know, keep creators away from me, and it may not. Some folks appreciate honesty. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better, of course. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.